Hey gang, welcome back to Pardee Shop Shenanigans. I am Bob and welcome to my little corner of the earth. Now this is where shenanigans happen because that says so. Thank you again, Barry. Hey, at the last video, I pulled the head off my 1989 Jeep Comanche pickup. It's got the 4-liter Renix in it. And I was concerned that I had maybe a burnt valve or a cracked head. Today we're going to tear that head down, pull the valves, pull the springs, take a good close look at it head to toe, and let's see if it can be salvaged. Okay, so this is our head, and let's take a look at a few things. I've done nothing to clean this up other than just wipe it off and ran a quick scraper across here. A couple things you want to look at, I hope the lighting is good here, is inspect the head gasket. So we can see here, well, what can we see here? We can just see that it's a little bit different than some of these other areas here. See how there's some more gasket material between here and here. And here it looked like maybe it was starting to burn off a little bit. Now I think some of this stuck to the head. This is the head side of the gasket. I'm sorry, this is the block side of the gasket. This is the head side. So if we look at the head side of things, see how this dark coloration comes all the way through here, gasket material. And then I've got gasket material missing. Gasket material missing. Much of this was encrusted and baked on, and I was scraping off in between here. So this could have been the start of a head gasket going bad. Again, to my knowledge, this thing has 258,000 miles on it, and it's never been opened, but that's just to my knowledge. So overall, head gasket is not broken. It's not burned between two cylinders, anything dramatically. That's good. And then as we look at the head itself, I'm leaving this dirty right now, and I'm going to take it apart and pull all the valves while it's still dirty for this reason. I want to see what this looks like in here. I don't want to get it all cleaned and scrubbed and pressure washed and then take it apart. I want to get a more true and accurate reflection of what I'm taking apart here. So this is our condition of our cylinder head. We've got cylinder 1 through cylinder 6. This doesn't help us much with glare, but overall, nothing really terrible going on here. And I've managed to lose my valve compression tool that I had made in a previous video to use the drill press as my tool. So I had to make another one real quick. All it is a piece of scrap pipe, cut out a notch. I'm going to put the head in here with the valve stem up. I want to do this. I'll compress the spring, pull out the keepers, and away I go. Should be as easy as that. Let's see. Okay, so here's a representation of what's going to go on here. My fancy schmancy tool I made out of some scrap happens to fit right over the valve stem and the two little clamshell keepers that are in there that are a wedge that hold the spring and hold the spring retainer in place. Now, I'm just using my drill press because I can then with one hand depress it. But as you can see, it's just opening and closing the valve, right? So, as fate would have it, I have this piece of scrap from another project. I'm going to put this underneath the valve head and have that be my stopper. And since this is so light, let's see if I can do it without making up new words. Okay, so there we have that. This needs to be aligned. And yes, they make tools to do this. Now, the whole mission here is to have the valve stay in place and depress the valve spring just like that. See there? And now I've got these little clamshells right here. That's all that's holding that in. So we will grab this with the handy dandy magnet. And now, when this comes up, I can remove my valve spring and keep her. Now, don't lose these little guys. They're valuable. I happen to have this magnetic parts dish that I put them in so they don't fall. Now, I'm going to do this for each and every valve. Pop, pop, pop. No need for you to have to watch all that necessarily. I'm going to take these out. This is the valve spring. My valve is in here, and right here is my valve seal or valve stem seal. This is rubber. When these wear out, oil can blow by. Blow by down into the cylinder. Sometimes that's where you get a little bit of blue smoke going also. So I'm going to go ahead and work through this. I'm going to take all of these valves out, and I'll come back to you with an update. Okay, so I now have all the valve springs pulled out. I've laid them out in the same sequence as the rocker arms. Number 1 cylinder there, number 6 back here. I pulled the first 3 out, and let's just keep on keeping on here. And what I'm looking for here is this valve face condition. See how that's kind of pitted looking and dirty? I don't know how pitted that's going to be just yet. But I'm going to do these valves one at a time. I'm going to clean them up. And I'm going to gently, with a wire wheel, I'm going to clean them all up head to toe, front and back. And then for the valve seat, if I understand correctly, I think I read one time that the Renix engine does not have a hardened valve seat. I think it's actually the cast iron. I could be wrong. Once I get in that, I'll look a little closer. But for now, let's pull all the valves out, give them a quick look, and put them away with their associated valve spring, all in order, so that I don't get anything kitty-wampus here, because kitties and wampus don't always go together. Intake. No pits. What I'm looking for actually is if you see where it's shiny right here, as I rotate it, if it stays pretty shiny all the way around, if I can hold it there, that's a good thing. If it's burned or it's gotten hot and it's pitted badly, it could be beyond repair, might never seal again. Let's just see how fortunate we're going to get with this poor old Renix engine. All in all, pretty good. Lots of carbon buildup. It's to be expected. But so far, nothing big and ugly considering the fact that it does have 258,000 miles on it. To the best of my knowledge, that is, if it's never been opened, as I have been told. Exhaust valve, he's had some wear, but all in all, not in terrible condition. Not for the budget we're on, right? Looking pretty decent. There just might be hope for this old girl. We might be able to put it back together with original parts. Again, I'm doing this on a budget. I think most good mechanics would tell you that that looks a little bit distorted right there. We'll look closer. Most mechanics would tell you if you're going to pull the head off of an engine with this many miles and grind the valves, that you should go ahead and put in rings and crank bearings, new seals. But you know what? This is a budget build. We just want to get Moab and back to the Easter Jeep Safari. Okay, I'm going to get these guys all cleaned up on my bench wheel, and I'll come back with an update. Okay, well, I'd say some good news. Probably the worst valve that I see is this exhaust valve right here. This is the very first one I took out. This is from, let's see if I can get this straight here. Yes, this is from number 6 cylinder. Forgot which end of the world I was on. If you look at this, if it'll focus here, see that pitting? Yep. Definitely has some pitting all the way around. If you look at this, plane here compared with this plane here, see how this is pretty consistent all the way around. That's good news. It'll stay focused on me. We want that to be pretty consistent right where my fingernail is. I've checked each of them. Exhaust valves, they really take the beating. These rascals actually glow red. What you don't want to do is working on this is drop one. Frankly, it could shatter. The other thing is, you saw me on the grinder over there. Might be a temptation to take the grinding wheel, the stone to put on, take off hard stuff. Do not do that. You don't want to change. You don't want to change this geometry, because this geometry matches the seat that the valve sits down into. Now, something else you can probably see these striations here? So I used a Redneck head mill, also known as a flat file, and I just took this right across here real light. I'm not pushing hard. I'm not hitting like this where I might ding things. I'm not running off the edges. I'm just laying flat just to clean it up. All I did was I did this to clean it up. Now, why was that important to me? To me, because I can see these striations where it's making contact pretty consistently all across the way here, tells me I don't have any significant warp or any significant issues there. Now again, budget build, I'm not saying this is how you should do your job. However, I think I'm going to clean these guys up a little bit more. I'm going to get that head cleaned up. I'm going to get degreased and pressure washed and all blown out. And I'm going to take the wire wheel to it on the end of my drill. I'm going to clean this all up. Then I'm going to look at the condition of these valve seats. And as long as the valve seat, let's see if I can put this stuff away so I don't put it in the wrong spot. What's important with the valve seat is that I make you really dizzy moving this around. See just above my fingernail here where that shiny spot is, if the distance from here to here is consistent all the way around, okay, on each valve seat. This one doesn't have to be the same as this one, it's just each valve seat. If it's consistent all the way around, let's see if that'll focus in there. See that shiny part? Well, it's kind of pitted. As long as that's the same all the way around, you've got something to work with. Now, this is not going to go to any Indy races. This is not going to go and run a 6,000 RPM engine. But for 258,000 miles, and all I want to do is keep it running somewhat reliably to get me to Moab this spring, well, guess what? That's how we're going to run it. So I am going to do some more work. I'm going to get this pressure washed and degreased off camera, and I'll give you an update when I have more. Okay, well, some progress has been made. I cleaned up the first two rocker arms, cleaned up the push rods. Got quite a lot more work to do here. Spent some time on this head. I did pressure wash it. I'm sure the car wash loves me. A couple cans of degreaser. Cleaned up all my ports with the wire brush and a drill, going whirligig. And I'm happy to say I'm fairly confident there's no cracking involved here. Now, I'm just using the naked eye. If I really were to do this right, I would take it down to shop, have it hot tanked, have it magnafluxed. But I think I'm just going to clean this rascal up a little more and give her a go. Now, you'll see that I've had my Redneck machine shop going here with my file. It's a 12-inch file running lengthwise, real slow and easy without any real pressure on it, just nice, light, and easy. And the reason I do that is I can see it's making contact pretty consistently all across the way here. Everywhere it's shiny, it's made contact. That tells me I don't have any significant warpage on this head. Of course, taking it to a machine shop, they would measure it properly, and they would tell me what really to expect and what I'm working with. However, this happens to be party shop shenanigans, and we don't do things by the book. So lots of work to do still. I think I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet. I'm going to order a head gasket set. I'll get new head bolts. I don't like to reuse head bolts. I don't recommend it anyway. You torque them and they'll stretch a certain distance, and then you put them back in. They might stretch and back off on you later on. Also, I'll have new valve seals. I'm going to hand lap those valves, clean everything up, and in the next video, we'll put that back together and I'll show you how to hand lap the valves. Hopefully, we'll have some great seat activity, and we'll have us a Renix head ready for Moab this spring. Hey, remember to hit like and subscribe. Come back and join me once in a while. I'd sure appreciate it. Go out and make somebody smile today. You both deserve it. Bob out.